What's going on, workforce? Brian here.
Chris here.
And today we're diving into a new interview from Naoki Yoshida, Yoshi-P, talking about what's to come after Endwalker. This should be pretty exciting. I've seen this actually come out. It was released a couple days ago. I haven't actually given it a read, so this is going to be our live reaction, our thoughts to the interview itself. So that's essentially what this video is. Chris, do you have a special phrase, or do you have anybody that want to shout out for today's video?
No, today we gave away over 500,000 gil on stream.
Ooh, nice. How many sprouts versus actual people who are watching? Because whenever somebody isn't on our server,
one person was an actual person and a sprout.
Oh, nice. Well, welcome to all the sprouts here. If you guys aren't aware, Chris does giveaways as a part of it. One is like 1% of your total wealth in game, so that's an increasing figure. And
we gave away 1%. So I gave away 4 giveaways of 180K.
Yeah. And if for some, like right now, since there is not the data center visit, we don't know yet the full restrictions or unrestrictions, etc. But if you're not a part of Aether, then you basically are giving that away to somebody on the data center, and we go find a sprout and give it away. Honestly, it's a lot of fun.
We had somebody in their free trial today, which can't receive gil, and they won the free trial, just bought the game, which is massively on sale right now, and then paid it forward by allowing me to give gil to an actual like paid sprout.
Yeah, it's exciting. Like you chasing
new
around the
everywhere.
sprouts.
New players giving money to new players.
Sprouts for days.
New players getting, all over the place.
All right,
exciting time to be new.
It's time to dive into the news and content, guys. If you ever want to know, like we do have chapter markers. If you don't like our little banter, you can always just jump right to the meat of the videos themselves. Just look for the awesome video section in our tags. So, all right. Final Fantasy XIV's Naoki Yoshida teases what's to come after Endwalker, guys. The link, is always, when we do these interviews and these sites that cover the game, is in the description. Go give them some clicks. That's going to help us get more Final Fantasy XIV coverage and exposure to the gaming world, aka more sprouts coming in to play the game. All right, Yoshida Yoshi-P also strongly recommends players replay the main story quest again to prep for Endwalker's big finale. Now, that's a subtext line that says, you got 6 months. Like you could do it. You can play through the entire story. Chris, aren't you doing?
How many
like
quests is that? So I remember the number being 472 from the beginning of Lemsa, because it varies based on starting zone. Not all quests are the same length, but let's assume for a moment they are. 472 quests from that. And I don't remember if that's to Shadowbringers or through Shadowbringers. And I don't remember if that's before or after the 100 quest purge had in 5.3. So like that, is that 5.3? 5.3. That sounds right.
Yeah.
And so either way, it's in the ballpark of 400 plus quests. Even if each quest only took 10 minutes.
Yeah.
With cutscenes and battle content and fetching, because you're going to do some fetching.
Yeah.
That's still so many minutes. How many hours is that? 4,000 minutes? What is that? So many minutes. You're kind of doing something like that already behind the scenes. I'm already mid playthrough.
Yeah, still, but like,
are you gonna do it?
I don't know.
Doing it before he said it.
I would have to, like, we'd have to get some absurd amount of likes on this video for me to do that. And so I put the challenge out to you guys. I've never seen 10,000 likes on any of our videos before. If you want to make that happen and see me do a full playthrough of the story before Endwalker, it's got to hit 10,000 likes before like the middle of July. Because if you guys are like, oh, it's October, Brian, we did it.
You're gonna give them 2 months.
Well, it's like June now. It's basically June. I'm gonna give them a month. Yeah, to recommend this video.
So before fireworks launch in America on July 4th, if this is at 10,000 likes, before the fireworks go off that evening,
boom, 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 I will play through. I'll take a new character because I ain't touching New Game Plus. All right, banter has
67 hours. Thank you for that math.
Well, yeah, thank you. Why don't you jump in with our first
10 minutes?
Why don't you take the first section of the article?
All right. So the first section is Final Fantasy is doing something pretty unheard of in the MMO genre. It's bringing an end to the story. Since it launched in 2010 and was later remade into the much improved A Realm Reborn in 2013, Final Fantasy XIV has been slowly building towards a planet-sized shutdown between the Warriors of Light and the complicated but mostly evil Ascians, or what's left of them anyway. The story of previous expansions has typically bled over the post-launch updates that release every few months after the expansion's launch, but not Endwalker. Everything will resolve during the main story campaign, and its post-launch updates will instead focus on a brand new story arc. It's anyone's guess what's going to happen, but I couldn't resist the urge to ask game director Nakita Yoshida about it, our lovely Yoshi-P. With 10+ year history, we were able to tie up a lot of loose ends, and with the climax, there will be more questions that are answered, and people will understand the reasoning behind a lot of things that have been present throughout the story, Yoshida said. With that being said, there are areas within planet Hydaelyn where we haven't explored yet. There are continents that have yet to be discovered, areas that have yet to be explored. There's possibilities there. And with the story of Shadowbringers, we learned that the Crystal Tower acts as a portal, not just to distant realms, including the First and those that have been divided by the Sundered, but it can also allow for us to travel in time as well. So we can go back to the future, back to the past and to the future as well. So there's still a lot of possibilities left. It's a vague tease, but as someone that's been playing Final Fantasy XIV for those 11 years, I find those possibilities tantalizing, especially the idea of time traveling to a different era in Eorzea's history might be on the table.
So it continues, because Endwalker's story is largely about an impending apocalypse, I was curious to know if the climax would lead to anything world-changing. When Final Fantasy XIV's original version first went offline, for example, Square Enix wrote it into the story that the old world was obliterated by a giant dragon encased in the moon, and a cool and convenient way to explain all the geographical changes that relaunched in the relaunched version. That won't happen again, Yoshida says. You wouldn't see a case where right after Endwalker, everyone is going to have amnesia or a meteor, Dalmode, comes down one more time and the realm is destroyed again. We won't have these or those incidents again, rest assured. There's 100 different ways, in that regards. I like how he's specifically saying that we're not going to bring down Dalmode again.
Yeah, but it's not Dalmode that's up there.
I know, it's not.
We're keeping this spoiler free, but that moon's gone. So we have another moon.
moons for days. All right.
I'm just saying, I feel like I can picture my little brother punching me and going I'm not going to punch you with this hand anymore. And you already know he's going to start punching you with the other hand.
Yeah.
That's not this hand. That's not this hand.
He continues, we have no intention of negating all that has happened in the story, Yoshi added. We don't want to negate the adventure that you went on, the characters that you met along the way, and the achievements that you accomplished throughout your journey. So when we were looking into that transition and moving forward into the next chapter of the story, it's safe to assume that this is still taking place in the same universe, so to speak. I cannot wait to figure out what they're doing. There's so many possibilities, and Yoshi-P, these guys have been planning this stuff for a long time. I'll let you take the next section.
It's exciting that Final Fantasy XIV is on the verge of such a major transition, not just because I'm anxious to see how it all ends, but also to discover what new stories Square Enix wants to tell after. But due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Endwalker is also launching a few months behind schedule on November 23rd. Keep in mind, guys, that November 19th is what it is. If you pre-order, it's a live service game. Why would you not pre-order?
Right.
That's a pretty long gap that players will have to wait, especially since the last of the Shadowbringers story patch has landed May 25th. In the past. To help pass the time, Yoshida strongly recommends replaying some of the main story all the way from the previous expansions of Realm Reborn. We do have a New Game Plus mode, Yoshi-P says, so you can go back and play the chapters of previous expansions of the main story so that it's fresh in your memory when you jump into Endwalker. I feel like that'll help with your enjoyment. I can see how that would help with your enjoyment of Endwalker. I don't see how that helps with your enjoyment of New Game Plus. There are no rewards for that system. I don't understand the appeal.
Right. 100%.
I will just start a new character and get one for free. Now, I do believe there's a reduced subscription if you pay for the subscription only as one character, in which case New Game Plus is great. But for those of us that have a subscription that lets us have multiple characters, I can get another character for free by doing this, or I can just have the story. And either way, I get to experience the story. Now, that does mean I don't have my mount along the way. I don't have access to a pile of gil. I am going to have, I did wonder, are you going to run out of gear? Are you going to be times where you're under geared or under leveled? The answer is no. Right. I can tell you that the level 4 quest is the only time in MSQ where you fall behind. I'll be addressing that in some upcoming videos on Gaming Kinda. That's the only time. Other than that, with no food, no hunting log, nothing. I'm not doing the Aetheryte ring. I'm not doing the earring. I'm not doing anything optimal. People that have watched parts of my playthrough over on Gaming Kinda have said it hurts to watch you run by a hunting mob. And I was like, just know that I was there with my hands on the keyboard going, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't attack that monster. I am playing so suboptimally. And I am way outpacing MSQ. There is no way to get behind after you get to the level 5 MSQ quest. But yeah, I'm playing through.
All right.
Now he suggests that this isn't just MSQ. So if that sounds like too much,
right?
If it sounds like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do 300 hours of MSQ again,
right?
Great. Have you finished the Crystal Tower story? Have you finished the Binding Coil story? Have you finished, any raid series, any trial series? Are you caught up on those? Have you finished job quests for any jobs that you're attached to? Role quests, which of course tie into the lore of this expansion. Are there things you haven't done? Are you caught up on Hildebrand? Are you like anything that has story as a word that could be associated with it? Are you caught up? So for many players, that may not actually leave time to go back to the beginning, because there may be things where they did content. Somebody asked me the other day, hey, well, you didn't know that. Did you not do the Binding Coil content? I did do the Binding Coil content. I skipped cutscenes through it. Right. So I don't know the story of Binding Coil. And so I will need to clear that prior to Endwalker. Now, all of that being said, this whole interview, this is all talking about having the deepest, not the best enjoyment of the game. The best enjoyment of the game is to do what's fun for you. In FanFest, during the live letter, they asked one of the head story writers, they asked her, what is the theme of Endwalker? And she would not give an answer, because she said that there are times that people get things out of, I think she said art was the word that translated, but things like music, movies, games that are not what the creator intended and are still good and valuable. Right. And so you can get something out of Endwalker that they never pictured you getting out of it. And that's awesome. And so she said, all that we want is for you to have fun. So the theme is have fun. So there is not a right way. It is deeper to know why every rock is placed the way it is and who every character is the moment they're revealed. But I enjoyed Shadowbringers, and I didn't clear any prior expansion before that paying attention to story. Right. I skipped all the way and Shadowbringers is my first expansion to know all the way through, and I had a blast, and nobody can tell me I didn't.
Right. So for me, this has been a long journey, because I know a lot of people, you started in 2.0. For me, 1.0, I loved how they salvaged it. I love that there was a part of history that I will forever be a part of. In fact, I was talking and somebody was like, how in the heck do you have a reduced sub? And it's like, then I get to tell them the story of how I simped for Square Enix back when the game wasn't good. Like, the core of it is that I had pre-bought 6 months. So Final Fantasy XIV was coming out. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna give myself 6 months of time. And before our 1 month of free game, had ended, they went free to play until they could figure it out. And so this is a whole thing. So
not as a courtesy, as an apology.
Well, the apology.
Nobody should be paying for this.
We didn't know about the apology yet, right? We didn't know about the apology yet.
So but you said it was free until it was ready. They're saying like, hey,
let me walk you through this meat. Let me walk you through the whole thing, because I don't even know if I've told you this story. But this is really, I think, important to the overall where Endwalker is going. It hits me specifically. That's why, honestly, I would just. Anybody who's going to come into this video who's never seen our channel before is going to be really curious, if we do get to 10,000 likes, why this video was like randomly recommended to them, because the algorithm's like, people really like this video. It's just, it's covering us an interview. It's not, anyway. But there was no word on what was going to happen. So it goes free to play, but there's no promise. There's no apology in the terms of what that means, right? Yoshi-P didn't come out and say, we're going to do this reduced fee at that time. He worked on making the game playable and enjoyable and fun and bringing in these features. And then he got it to a point where it was good. Like, in the sense of, like, yeah, people were playing and they're having fun. And then he says, okay, we finally got to this point. We're going to turn on the subscriptions. And if you choose to play, this is what we're going to do with 2.0. So they had already shown off the plan for the future. And then that's when they felt like they could go ahead and say, and if you want to be a part of this story that's going to transition us into a whole new world in which we didn't, we did player surveys. They were like, are you okay with us destroying this world? And we were like, yes. and so that's where, for me though, it was also easy because I had still, was sitting on 6 months of paid time that I paid a year and a half or whatever prior. So then I was able to just kind of ride that wave. And since then,
that's old Brian.
Yeah, that's old Brian. Way to go, old me. I guess.
No, yeah, I worked at I worked in a job that I basically picked because it paid well, so that my wife and I could unbury ourselves from debt.
Yeah.
And throughout paying off our debt, we took a couple of nice vacations because they were incredibly high stress, and that was just a way of preserving our marriage. And we went to Napa Valley. We rented a car and we drove up the coast up the 5. Yeah. And we went to Napa Valley, and while we were there, we bought wine. And when you're there, they're like, oh, this is so much less than you'd pay back home, and you're trying it, and so of course you've been drinking, and so your decision-making ability is primo, and so you come back with a case of wine, but we don't drink wine that often, and so it's taken us a long time to get through that case. And they're not outrageously expensive bottles, but they're a whole lot more than anything I'd buy at the grocery store. Mm-hmm. A whole lot more, because I'm looking for that that $10 price point, $15 price point. And that's not where they are.
Right.
And so it has taken us a year and a half to get through them. And we took the last one to have with your brother. We were celebrating post-COVID, and we one of our college roommate was in town. Your brother and I, the three of us, it was the first time the three of us had been together since your brother's wedding 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And so we opened up the last of those bottles of wine, and your brother looked it up and he goes, I can't believe that we're drinking, it was a $50 bottle. So we're not talking crazy, but it's a lot of money. And he goes, I can't believe we're drinking $50 wine right now. And I was like, well, that's past Chris. Past Chris was doing better. So it is really nice when you get to use that gift card from 2 years ago or whatever. And you're like, oh,
yeah.
Finding a $20 bill. Yeah.
Whoa, I didn't know I had 20 bucks in this wallet. Yeah, exactly. Past Brian made a choice that has been benefiting him each and every month.
You got a tattoo on your character. I got a
little tattoo. I got a reduced fee. I got a special chocobo that I never ride. I should bring that out, because then people will be like, how do you get that? And you go, you got to hit that crystal tower up and travel your ass back in time.
You owe Past Brian a serious thank you card.
Yeah, it was all because I was all in. I was ready to go with 14, and I stuck it out, and I'm proud of it. Yeah, Chad was asking, was I there for the destruction? Yes, I fought Nail.
You were telling me about it every week.
Dude, I was like, this is insane. What's gonna happen?
I was like, do I join now? It's not gonna mean anything to me.
Ah, man. And the thing is you could have pre-bought that time and been paying that reduced sub this whole time. Oh, well,
I feel bad for the people that unsubbed during that time. It's cool if they're destroying it.
We had Mike.
Ducked out a month before, and then now they have to pay full sub, and they're 1.0.
We had Michael Byrne from Giant Bomb, and he's been running the
he was playing during the
radio.
That's the only reason he wasn't paying.
I know, and he was like, I don't know, and then it's now it's dadgummit.
I know people that unsubbed from WoW 1 month because a credit card changed or something like that, and at their 10-year anniversary, if you'd been subbed every single month since launch, they mailed you an individual statue as a thank you. And so there were people who were short by 1 month.
Oh man,
I guess thanks. Nope. Pass fail.
All right, guys. That's the interview in this case. I've seen a couple other things. People keep asking about is it coming to Xbox, and Yoshi-P basically saying he's not going to talk about any other platforms until after PS5 is released.
E3 maybe.
I don't want to give up. I don't want to think that. I don't want to even ballpark it. Set your expectations to it's not going to happen. Hope and want it to happen, and will it. And you know what? Retweet the tweets that I've been putting out every day. I figure, you know what? I would love to work for Phil Spencer in some degree, just because I respect the guy. But at the end of the day, I'm just.
Spofi stopped numbering her streams at what? Right, 1,500. It's Brian's turn. He's taking over.
Taking over.
Daily Xbox
tweets, and then it's boom. But so I'm ruining any chance he's gonna be that guy. Oh yeah, I was working on it, dude. Stop tweeting at me. But the idea though is that. I don't want to think. If it does, that's going to be great, and you're going to see a grown man cry and scream and probably say words that he doesn't want his kids to repeat. But I'm not putting that on E3, because if I do, no matter how cool the stuff we're going to see, I'm going to come away disappointed. I put it on, the idea of it was a fan fest. It didn't happen in my mind. Then I don't think it's going to for this thing. I really want to be wrong, in that regards. I really want it to happen, but typically and traditionally it's happened then. Obviously we're in a whole new set of stuff, but for those of you who don't hold your breath, and if it happens, celebrate with me, and if it doesn't happen, note that I wasn't expecting any kind of announcement like this at E3. I'm excited to see what Square Enix shows off this year as well, and Chris and I made a video about that this week. But I did see we got like somebody who upgraded their gifted sub to a real sub, and I apologize, I missed that in chat. It's not showing up in history. Dadgum, you Streamlabs. But thank you for that. Appreciate the support. And that's going to be where we're at with this one. Chris, you got any final thoughts before we wrap up the video?
No, I think this interview from Steven, it's just nice to see an interview from a fan. There's nothing wildly revealing in here for people who've been covering this, but it's just nice, continued. It's a chance to sit and talk and reminisce. And I think that's what Endwalker is going to be. I think it's going to be, people doing what Brian and I just did, just remembering back. And this is a huge callback. This is something that can't be recreated without 10 years of new history.
Right.
And so this is a rare moment. Even if it's handled poorly, even if Endwalker is for some reason not what we want it to be, it still takes 10 years to get another one. Yeah. Like you get one shot at this. So it's a big deal. It's exciting to be there. For those of you that were not there for the Dalamud 1.0 destruction, this is that moment. This is that chance. Just like when crypto crashed the other day, there were people like, hey, if you said, I wish I'd known that it could be big and I would buy in if it was less, that's your chance. Not saying do it, just saying like,
not financial advice.
If you wanted to be part of it, if you want to be part of the destruction and the end, whatever, just doesn't have to be destruction. We don't know. Right. The end of an MMO, this is it in a game that's not actually going to end. You're not joining something where your character is deleted. So it is the opportunity to do all of the ending finale stuff, be part of the last season of Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad. One being good, one being less rejoiced. And knowing that with 6.1, you get to keep that character. You get to keep those mounts. You get to keep those cosmetics. We know we're going into 7.0 and likely with the Oceanic Data Center. In my opinion, that's the sort of announcement that tells us, hey, 8.0 looking pretty good too. But it's hard to predict that far out.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you enjoyed the call to action. We'll see what happens and go from there. So again, if you guys are new,
Monday on stream.
Yeah, come hang out on Monday. So we're saying that I'm completely in the dark right now. So Monday I'm going to play the 555 story. And so you can come experience that and see me experience it. I've been saving it because one of the things that is I've just been busy this week, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and just blinders on there and everything. So we're going to go into Monday, and I don't know how I'm going to react. People have been, once I made that announcement, people were like, stay pure. So I've been saying stay pure, in Discord and in our live chat. So thank you guys for the support.
You edited my
blind,
my thoughts.
And no, I didn't listen at all.
And I said, don't watch it.
No, yeah.
I clipped it so you can just cut the audio. I said, don't watch it. And then I said, I posted my spoiler reaction to Game Club, so don't watch anything on Game Club.
Yeah, nothing. I have not been doing any of that.
I'm handling Game Club right now.
Yes, he's the Game Club master. AKA
first video
Work to Game TV.
Over a month.
Yeah.
How do I do this?
How do we do this? Yeah, chat's going, stay pure. So love you guys. Thanks so much for watching for Work to Game. My name's Brian.
My name's Chris.
Thanks again for watching. Have a great one, and we'll see you in our next video. But until then,
take care.